The xenophobic attacks against nationals of other African countries living in South Africa has led to multiple deaths, physical assaults, and looting of properties and businesses of other African nationals. While this is not the first of such attacks, the question is what could have led to this kind of attack. My guest looks at the implications of these attacks. Hello there. Thank you for joining me on the program. I'm Gloria Umezuki. We'll take a look now at the xenophobic attacks. Well, those behind those attacks in South Africa are claiming now that nationals of other countries, including Nigerians, have taken over their jobs and constitute social nuisance. Well, this kind of xenophobic attack is not the first of its kind in South Africa. A former Nigerian ambassador to Liberia gives insight on the attacks. But up ahead. The president of Ghana, who is also the chairman of the Economic Community of West African States, has condemned the xenophobic attacks. He called on the South African government to take a decisive action against the attacks. Take a listen.
I think that the young people of South Africa do not know what happened before they gained their freedom. The whole of this continent stood behind South Africa. The whole of Africa stood behind South Africa to fight against apartheid. I remember all of us growing up as secondary school children, went on marches, we were part of the African Youth Command, we demonstrated, we boycotted classes and all that, all in the fight against apartheid. Nigeria, even though not a neighbor of South Africa, was considered a frontline state because of the economic contribution that Nigeria did to the ANC to be able to liberate South Africa from apartheid. And so it is regrettable that the same people who fought against apartheid, are being attacked in this way. The pictures we've seen are very horrible. As ECOWAS, we've issued a statement condemning what is happening. The unfortunate thing is this is not the first time. It keeps flaring up. And so while we're condemning this incident, we must work with the South African government to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
Well, joining me now is Ambassador Ayo Adigun, a former ambassador to Liberia. Ambassador Ayo Adigun, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Well, just let's begin this way. What really could be responsible for the xenophobic attacks that went on in South Africa, for a couple of days now, destroyed businesses worth millions? I mean, we virtually saw, a man and a woman, amongst others, being shot in their necks.
Yeah.
What really could be responsible for this?
We have to look at the foundation of the apartheid that gave birth to post-apartheid South Africa. You see, the situation then was that the blacks could not express themselves. They were not in power. They were just being used as instruments to perpetrate the state apparatus. But that notwithstanding, immediately the apartheid ended in 1993. And the successor, that's the post-apartheid regime under the African National Congress, which was the people who fought against apartheid with the support of the Africans, countries and Nigeria and the international community. We expect that immediate post-apartheid South Africa under Mandela was a bit peaceful because of the situation, the figure of Mandela. But these issues are there. The foundation and the taproot of apartheid has really not been removed. It was just a change of actors.
Really?
What do I mean by this? For instance, in the post-apartheid South Africa, the government that came in power are blacks, African National Congress. I expect them to have a policy in place that will have taken cognizance of the economic issue, apart from the political dimension, the economic situation of their people before apartheid. Now with them coming on board, I expect them to address the socio-economic foundation of apartheid. The people, are they getting the benefits of the new dispensation? For instance, look at the type of people you see going on rampage. They look like area boys, the disgruntled elements, young people. They don't even know what they are doing. Are you getting my point? But they are reacting to the socio-economic issues, which still remains essentially the foundation of apartheid. They can't find a expression that to attack foreigners. They don't have work to do. In fact, most of them don't look to me as educated.
Is that a reason to attack?
That is not the reason, actually. The fault should be placed at the doorstep of the African National ruling party. That's ANC. They are to be blamed for whatever is happening, and they are to be held accountable for the consequences, because we were expecting them to put appropriate socio-economic something to empower their people. These are the type of people that has been disconnected from what they thought they have a free country, free from apartheid. But essentially, as I said, the foundation of apartheid is there. There is even somebody who told me that what you have in post-apartheid South Africa is a white government with a black face. That could be true, because if the ruling party, ANC, cannot address the socio-economic issue of their people, the young ones, then the future is bleak. And of course, incidentally, I understand that the blacks, South Africa, they have a misconception that their problem is because foreigners from other African countries, including Nigeria, Zimbabwe, and so they have come to take their jobs from them.
Is there also a problem with the police? I mean, you see them struggling to contain the mobs, and you're wondering, how did they get there? How did South Africa, how does it try to manage situations like this? How does that try to portray itself as a diverse nation? Basically,
the problem has always been there. Immediately after apartheid regime was cleared off in 1994, it was just a respite. Immediately, and when South Africa was now open to other African countries, a lot of Nigerians ran to South Africa for whatever reason, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But what we forget in this case is that there are professionals, Nigerian professionals in South Africa, who are professors, lecturers, medical doctors that are not migrant labor. They are there, they can work in any climes in the world. That one should be taken apart, so we should not bother them. So, but this category of Nigerians who went as migrants, they don't even know what to do. They just went there that the place is open up. Again, let me tell you, there are Nigerian genuine investors in South Africa who have their businesses. I've been to Johannesburg. The Nigerians have one of the best restaurants. We are managing with their money. But when they see foreigners that are successful, they don't even know that it is their money. They are paying taxes. They are obeying the rules. So they need to be protected. So the South African government must be held liable for what is happening. They have every cause to protect all legitimate foreigners that are in their country according to international law. So, but when you see that, why is it that the police cannot contain the situation? You can see some of them, they are not even active. They are, because it's the same people. It's possible some of their security agencies may hold the same view of this, that their problem is, if you can get other foreign African countries away, then that will solve their problem. It can't solve their problem. But there must be somebody who has given them this misinformation on which they are acting upon. I think they are misguided.
This spate of attacks really revives so many memories of xenophobic attacks, bloodshed back then in 2008.
Yes.
And of course, you just imagine that when this happened, the next step would be that the government would take proactive steps to quickly quell this. But that really did not happen. Before the military was sent to intervene, it took quite a while.
That is the same thing. They are trying to use the military to intervene now. Why should it lead to that situation? My fear is that the problem is not over. As long as the basic foundation of the problem of the blacks in South Africa are not addressed, they will continue to vent their anger on hapless African countries that are doing well there. Recently, I was happy what their women did. The women protested who are married to Nigerians. There are intermarriages. That's what people don't know. And they protested that the government should do something against this xenophobia, especially directed against Nigerians. Because Nigerians, wherever they go, they do well. There's no justification for this. And we are all members of the African Union. Let's forget about what we have done to help apartheid. So this generation, they don't even know what we have done. Because there is no physical evidence to show them that what we are. That's why we are saying whatever we want to do, we must put landmarks. Is this hospital, was it built during the apartheid by Nigeria? What did we do? Those are the things you don't expect. This generation, they don't even want to know because they already have a wrong mindset. And they are venting their anger on the wrong direction. But at the end of the day, the government knows what to do. If these people who are going on rampage are not educated, they are disconnected from governance, government should do something. Otherwise, this problem will not go away.
But based on antecedents, does Nigeria really have enough to sort of sever ties with South Africa?
With the situation, I've not gotten to that stage. If you know how foreign policy and diplomatic relations work, I don't think we have gotten to that stage. For instance, South Africa knows that they have a lot of business interest in Nigeria, like the IBTC, DSTV, and then MTN. But this also, there are Nigerians working there. There was even a threat that the MTN say, oh, if Nigerians that are protesting here should halt their business, more than 6,000 Nigerians will be thrown out. But that is not even the issues we are fighting. I believe in a global world, you should have right under global migration to go to where you want to live. There are lots of people going abroad and so on. It's not that there are no evidence of but it's not in this crisis proportion. You know, hating race or, oh, these people. But I learned basically the South African people, these people are lazy. They don't want to work. If they throw out all the African businesses and so on, they don't have the wherewithal to take over the business. So this is pure misguided hatred, which the government itself should show political will to control. Otherwise, the government will be held liable. So what we do is that Nigerians, we have been helping others. It is part of the legacy we inherited after independence. And that's why God is blessing us, because we try to help people without conditions. But they should not take this for granted at all, because we have the political will to retaliate. But I think in life, in relations, you don't retaliate because of the future. We will continue to have problems, but these problems can be amicably resolved. What I expect is for our government to issue a statement, make South African government accountable for this crisis. They should be able to contain it. They cannot fold their arms and see their national going on rampage against other African countries. In fact, it disturbs the spirit of African Union. So far, I've not had any statement from African Union, and South Africa is even heading the commission, Mrs. Suma. So you can see the embarrassment they may be causing their government, and the anxiety that it will cause in relations. So on the point of view, our government should begin to see that the protection of Nigerians, their properties, living and abiding are protected. In fact, that's why we need to have in place a sort of what I would call investment protection agreement. In cases like this, we should have it with South Africa, if we have not had it. And in some other West African countries. Let me tell you, even in countries in West Africa we are afraid, there are still noticeable xenophobia against Nigeria, because this xenophobia is based on envy. Oh, you people are doing well, this is our country, you are lazy, but they forget that these people are contributing to the development of the country. And as I told you, anywhere Nigeria goes, they will succeed. This is even an evidence of envy. So it's not enough to sever relationship.
We were not prepared to allow any of our nationals to be subjected to that kind of inhuman treatment in South Africa. If situations warrant, definitely the government will take action by bringing back home all Nigerians that are willing to come back. We are not being reactionary because, you see, this is happening to all foreigners, not Nigerians alone, all foreigners. Some have taken this wait-and-see attitude like we have taken. And, of course, we are monitoring wherever Nigerians are in South Africa. We are monitoring the situation and the status. So we cannot all of a sudden decide to move them out so long as there is no particular threat to Nigerians being singled out. So as far as we are concerned, we are monitoring the situation, and we will now take action according to the situation that develops in South Africa.